Hello everybody, Smith here. Welcome to another Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom video. Yes, this is a very special video because as you can see in front of us, we have got a Lockwood Manor. So this video, and maybe a second video, is just really a really detailed breakdown of Lockwood Manor. And its component parts, e.g. the underground section, the manor itself, really in high detail, because we're going to build this in Minecraft. So I've done a lot of research, so I thought people might want to know where we come from. I'm using all stills, I'm using some CGI stuff as well. So hopefully you really enjoy this and go along with me. I'm going to point out some, sadly, continuity fails as well with the movie. Now, word of warning, if you haven't seen Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, do not watch this if you don't want spoilers. This is full of spoilers, lots of spoilers, guys. So for those of you who may have come here for the first time, I build Jurassic World stuff, Jurassic Park, Jurassic World and Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom in Minecraft to a very high detail standard. So you can go and have a look at my other videos for that. So anyway, please slap that like button for me. This is going to should be a ride for you all. So straight up here, guys, we have got one of the shots in the movie of Lockwood Manor here, and you can see this in front of us. Excellent stuff. It's really high detailed from the front, but it sort of gives an impression from this angle of small, and Lockwood Manor is way bigger than that. You can see Maisie's room up here. You see the stairwell, etc. And this original picture was Craigside in Northumbria, United Kingdom, England. So then it's all been superimposed, and we'll show you the guy who superimposed it over the top. So without further ado, guys, and I've broken this down to various sections, and this is going to take quite a while. So, but we are going to break it down to sections, e.g. the manor house, the dinosaur pens, the loading area, the roof area, and how this is all going to fit together for the build I'm going to do. So let's go. So first up, guys, this is a lovely design on the front. Lions, usual sort of thing. And you'll see a bit more detail. So let's go to the higher detail. This is the outside, one of the opening scenes where Claire comes to Lockwood Manor. And this is all CGI. Very clever CGI, as you will see, based on just this front bit. The only bit that's real are the stairs and this little bit area here. Love the car, Lock 1. And you can see that it's got, I was looking at this before, it's got some, you can see the lines there. There's Claire going at the top to the big doors. One of the first things is what's inside, but we shall see that later. So first up, guys, on the CGI front, El Ranchito, I will put this is from a video, it's like a VFX video that he's done, and he was one of the people that built this. Built Lockwood Manor for the CGI, which is really cool. So go and have a look at this video on Vimeo, and the links in the description. So you can see this is just the top of the manor house, and we're now going to see the whole thing and spin it round, which is really cool. So let's have a look at this. So here's the manor house from the front, guys. You can see the steps going up here. You can see the sort of different design. From the last picture as we go here, you can see these beautiful like bedrooms where you can walk out and around. You probably could open these doors, which would be really cool. But you can see like this picture back here, the one back here, you can't see the rest of it. It's hidden around the side. But you can see here, guys, it's got lots more. And you can just see the Indoraptor roof, I'm calling it, the Indoraptor roof at the back here. Now, that is one of the first continuity errors of the movie, as you will see later, from when Claire goes in. And we'll talk about that and some of the other continuity issues we've got with the build, which will be a problem. So here we go. And this CGI spins round, and I've taken the screenshots here. It's really cool. You can see the roof here as we spin round here. You can see the detail of the CGI model. And this is the front again. Oh, actually going backwards. Come back there. You can see we now spin round. You can see the roof over here, and you can see that's Maisie's, and that is where Benjamin's room is, because you'll see her going across the roof in the movie later on. So Benjamin over here. So let's bring it round. You can see the roof here. Now keep a heart. See this window. We'll show this later. This window is actually not part of the museum. It's like an annex, as you will see now. You can see this annex. So, and we'll explain this bit here at the end as the bit of the museum as well at the end here, which is different in the movie, because I ask you, where is the lift? And we're going to have a look at that afterwards, which is quite fun. And you can see this round. Hopefully you can see this in great detail. I thought I'd zoom in here. Here is the Indoraptor roof, and here is where they Owen and Maisie climb round, get knocked by the window and fall down here, and then the Indoraptor comes out of this window. Now, on the movie, there's 2 windows here, guys, so you could be able to see that on the model here, this model, it's got 1 window. So there are some discrepancies as we go around, and you'll see those. So the roof spins round. There's the roof there, and it ends rather abruptly here, which I'll explain about that later, and the windows on that side. But if we spin it again, and one thing is you will see there is a window here. So we can actually sort of see a window here. It was very hard to see, but in the movie there's a window either side. So if we spin back, this is sort of an annex, which is quite interesting to say the least. So it's spin back round. The model, obviously, you wouldn't see this in the movie, so it doesn't really matter. It's a 3D model, and we spin round. It's got that old manor house. It's like an old and new manor house style, which is just a bit different around here, which is quite interesting. It's almost like this is the old manor house, and the rest of it's been built on at a later date. So there we go, more manor house, and it goes around here. Now, the roof is sort of hidden by these buildings over there. So we can spin back around here, and when we go into, you can see again, when we go into here, we'll explain. That's, if you remember, if we walk in through the steps, that should be straight through. And for those who know the movie, it's not straight through. So you should be able to walk straight through the door, through the hallway, past the stairs, into the museum. So let's crack on to this. I think we're now going to switch to outside. So there is the scene where Lockwood Manor is there. There's the front of Lockwood Manor on the right, and on the left here we have the loading bays. So please bear in mind that, because later on there's a shot from down on the ground here where you see the people standing looking across, and this shot, the loading bay, needs to be further back. It needs to go back about 60 to 80 feet, as you see, because the movie later it's almost parallel with the side, as we'll look at there. So crack on again, and you can see as the movie pans to Lockwood Manor again at the front, it just sort of pans over there, car parking there, and the loading vehicles there when they're bringing all. Now, is that bringing the dinosaurs in? Yes, that's bringing dinosaurs in. So here is Lockwood Manor in terms of the docks to the far right here and the lighthouse, as you can see there. You can see the lighthouse over at the far side, and we spin through this. We'll go here. There's a closer up. There's the Lockwood Manor driveway there. Here is it's lit. The museum is lit with the glass roof again, which will feature quite a lot in this video at the back. And then you can see over here are the docks with the ship. The Arcadia is over here already in here. And the lighthouse is shining. Right, let's have a look at it. So this is now looking at the opposite direction. Now, if I just pan back, this shows how high up the house is. It's quite the high up. Because that water is a long way down. Because in the next shot you can see how high the bank is. The docks here with the road, and the road goes up here through the trees and then must go up towards where the house is. But from the bird's eye view, you can obviously see the lighthouse in the far distance there. And so there's the road. I'm looking for, quite interesting, I'm looking for a map now which I can use this, because I want to do the whole thing. So I'm looking for a Minecraft map which has got forestry like this, and we can put a road through up to the manor. We can put the docks down there with the Arcadia, so that should be pretty good. Right, here we go. So there's the docks again. Arcadia's coming in with the tugboats, and this is a serious dockland. This dockland must have been here previously. It must have been used previously as such, but you can see the Arcadia is here unloading all the dinosaurs as they come off and off up. The next one is where they're coming up the ramp. There you go. It's pretty substantial, this guy. So this dock probably was used for access. It's probably quite remote, so the docks are used for access to the manor and all the things that got built there, as you will see, because they've built all the underground area. So There we go. Right, here are the dinosaurs coming into the loading bay. I'm going to do a section just on the loading bay later. But here is the loading bay and the dinos. Very sad. They're poking them when I don't think they really need to. There's a lot of poking of them. And this fella, this is so funny. This fella looks like he's out of some Far Eastern area with I call it a Russian or hunter's hat as it is. It's quite interesting. And everybody else, he's like the leisurely guy there. And all these are like quite clued up with their guns and everything like that. So there we go. You think this guy will be watching the dinosaur going out, whatever. But hey, there we go. So when the T-Rex gets brought in, there's two ways, right? There's three ways. Well, there's two ways. One way is the big dinos seem to be rolled in and put down in lifts, but there's also a ramp, which we'll show you later, where you can drive a truck right down into the underground section, which we'll show later. But you can see here in the movie, the T-Rex was lowered. So the big dinos, and we got a Patasaurus as well, the big dinos were lowered down through these wonderful, lifts down. And then you notice on the last pictures, all these rails. So all these, it was all designed for these to come off the wagons and roll on the rails. As they do. So T-Rex then went down into the bottom. Somehow it was then brought round to where the T-Rex holding pen was, which was just here. It seems like it's been totally designed for this. Although what gets me is the brickwork is really old. And there's this light on the right side, so we don't know where the light's coming from. Artificial light maybe made to look like light, because there is no light. This is way underground. This is like 4 stories underground, this is. So it's a long way down at least, and I'll explain about that later. So here is Maisie outside her bedroom at the top. The bedroom's here. She's looking out, and the next shot, that was a bit darker because that was a lightning shot. No, that was a lighthouse shot. The lighthouse shines on the actual manor house as such, and there she is again with the lighthouse not shining. So here are all the rich and famous arriving to go and buy their dinos at the front of the house, all walking in to the house as such. Bearing in mind it's the front of the house, and these are just like rooms, etc. So here's Maisie up here at the top, creeping around the building, and our auctioneer and Mills, of course, waiting to see who arrives. Lots of money. So then we switch, because we're doing the whole manor house in one, and we'll switch to the outside at the rear. You notice here I mentioned the 2 windows, which were way better in the movie, and on the left there you can see these circular windows that are all over the house. They're sort of a feature of this manor house. And look at that, you can see the Indoraptors sort of just up there, literally climbing up the roof to the top before it goes and sees Maisie. And you can see the glass of the museum now. So Indoraptor's on top. There you go. And the next shot, we got the Indoraptor just about to appear. You can see, really good the CGI is you can see where the Indoraptor's climbed up the slates and knocked the slates off, which is another good thing. And then, of course, we've got the Indoraptor here on top doing its cry, which I'm sure Maisie heard because she was only in the room below. Which might be good. And then this is after the Indoraptor fight, and we'll do a bedroom. We're going to do the bedroom afterwards. I'm just doing the outside of the house here at the moment. This is after the Indoraptor and Blue fight, and Indoraptor is having a go at Blue, and Blue's hanging on, and Maisie and Owen are sliding down the brickwork, and you can see them sliding down here, dead cool, and holding on. So this is part of the set. This set actually existed, and they slid down onto the stuff, and you can see this is when the Indoraptor comes out comes right out and falls down the side, and Owen and Maisie are just down here at the bottom, and then they climb up over the glass, which was a set that was built, of course, specially for this. And then they climb along the top. Notice that when I thought we had a gap here, but we haven't, but we'll come to that afterwards. Maybe there is a gap on this one. It looks slightly different here, and it does, going right back to that original model. So off we go, and then here the Indoraptor's climbing up because it sees food. It just still looks like there's a gap there. And then I just want to show this because this pans down. So this is the end of the building. They got one of these circular windows. You pan down, so it's go back up the top, pan down, And this is quite interesting. I'll show you the next one. So it's lit up with a lightning. This is like a courtyard down here. Now, bearing in mind that this is the end of the wall, where when we go inside the museum, the lift is down here. So I'll show you what I mean. You've got to think about this. Is dead straight down at the end of the glass. So where's the lift? But interestingly enough, there's these stairs that go down underneath. So maybe that's a foot access to the basement levels. And there's Owen hanging on for grim death. And you can see in the background the courtyards at the back. Now, these weren't on that original model I showed earlier on, but you can see them there. And here's the glass. And to the right, you can see that it's a sheer drop. And you can see the buildings around as you go. But it's for the movie, it's a sheer drop. But on the 3D model, it isn't a sheer drop as such. And the Indoraptors come, and you can see more clearly here. The roof, look at this, 1, 2, 3, 4 sections, which is quite interesting. Another continuity error later on in the movie. So 4 sections, guys. Indoraptor put its foot through the second one along, first of all, and worked out the glass. You can now see Claire, because you can see the hole where the Indoraptor was. You can see Claire with the sniper with the red area, and the Indoraptor there, and then obviously she shines it on Owen, who does a slide. So Blue comes into the rescue, of course, and does that dramatic jump off the roof over there. Now, interesting enough, guys, look, the Indoraptor's on the second pane. Owen runs along. The Indoraptor jumps, okay, falls through the glass. Now, on this one, the Indoraptor, please notice this is a continuity error. The Indoraptor here is falling through the second one along. I assure you the second one along, because I'll prove that in a minute. Yet, it was standing back here on the second one, but it hadn't jumped yet towards Owen. So when it shows that, it shows it falling, goes down. Now look at the end, guys. See behind the head with the tusks. I like to call them tusks. There's the lift at the far end, which we'll see in more detail, and the 2 glass cases either side of the lift doors. Now, the roof as such, you can see the roof here has this, like, it has a false roof and then a light. If I go back one, even at the far end, the roof, there is a section which comes back, but there's still that end wall at the end still fits the end of the glass at the top. So that should be a sheer wall outside. But what they've done in the movie is, of course, they have put the lift at the end, which goes down to the basement. And it also has if you see, we'll look at it, it's got a number 2 level as well, which is quite interesting. Glass on the left, glass on the right, guys. You can see the windows. Now, it appears from here, as you see in the daylight, that this is going out to sheer daylight. But on the original model, there was no room for that as such. So we'll have to play around with that. Blue, triumphant. And then blue here, triumphant at the end before scurrying off before the end of the movie, coming back later. So when we come back to this, look where, so the Indoraptor did go through the third pane, and look at the hole on the top of the roof. So on the movie, it did go through the third one, but when it did the CGI here, it went through the second one. So they got it a bit wrong, guys. The Indoraptor should have been going through that end one, the third one along, because there's 4 sections. So they did get that a bit wrong. But glad to say they kept the top right, because the Indoraptor's the hole there, and then obviously Owen's down here on the left, and the Indoraptor's dead down that side. And you can see here, guys, this shot. See on the right hand side where Owen's standing on a flat area, it's also flat on the right. So where's the windows? Now the window, there's a window here. We could have a window on the left hand side here, but on the right hand side there's nowhere for a window because there's a building next to it. So it's, I think I might do the building version. I'm not too sure yet. We'll see. I've got to change because I've already built this section a bit. I've got to change it a bit. So then we come, that's the end of that. And then we come to the auction room. The lift is on the right hand side at the end. That's again the lift. And I've got this at -1, and I'll show you the lift controls afterwards. But I set this at -1, and there's a set of stairs on the left and right to lift for those who wish to walk down. All the dinosaurs come in from the far end of the area compound, and they get lifted up from below. So we've got the above we have got the museum. Directly below the museum, we have the auction rooms. Directly below the auction rooms, we have at least 2 levels where we've got and I'll show you those later. So we sort of got 3 levels below at least, but there are more, I believe, looking at the lift controls. So we're going to have a look at that afterwards. So auction room here, it's done in this, I call this Harry Potter green. It's done in all this lovely stuff as we go along. And Indoraptor later on comes in. Not too much to note here apart from the lighting with the rails, and the rails rolls in on sort of scaffolding rails. So there we go, sort of rolls in, and we'll show you the door afterwards. So Indoraptor's coming in, so we've got this fancy paneling which is also green. Sorry, that's not the Indoraptor, that's the Allosaurus lot 2102. This is the Indoraptor coming in, again with the switch here. Now you can start to see the gap at the back, which we'll see quite a lot later. Indoraptor coming in, Indoraptor's there, which is all good. So I just got that to get the outline of the build. There are things I've noticed. There is a door to the left here. Don't know where that goes. Maybe it's a fire exit. There's a door to the right over this side. The lift is behind me. Interestingly enough, there's also this area here, which is interesting. I wondered whether, like in a theatre, whether this circular bit was able to go up and down as like a feature where they could bring a dinosaur up through the feature. And Owen's obviously having the fight. The Stiggy is running round. Somewhere, where's the Stiggy? Somewhere, the Stiggy is running around. Maybe it's over that side. And we move on. Now, just want to show you. This is where you had the fight. You can see the other stairwell to the right. The stairwell to the right to lift. The lift is now open. So we had stairwells each way, and the stairwell sort of clips right. You can see it there on the right hand side. You run up the stairwell and turn right. The lift, and you can run up the left hand stairwell as well. Interesting is there's like a semi-dead person on the floor here from the Stiggy who hasn't got up yet, and obviously Owen is running to chuck the chair and have a go. Now you can see here, it wasn't very clear, but you can see the bricked area where the dinosaurs come out on rails, and there's a section behind, I can show you that, where the dinosaurs go on rails a bit later. Now this is now open, guys. See the difference? So this is the full area at the back when he comes and meets his demise for trying to take an Indoraptor tooth. And you can see on the left here, there's this like a belt really. It's probably electrified to make it roll out and then pull it back, I think. And then this wasn't lit because this was afterwards, wasn't it? But you can see the doors over here. Now how he got in, he must have gone for a door, but literally the doors. Don't know how those doors work because you can see the rails go there. So I wondered how that worked. But the doors go into another area which we didn't see. This area is pretty damn big. It's high enough for a standing T-Rex, I probably think, or even the Apatosaurus could come in as well. So it's quite interesting how they've actually done that, to say the least. So let's go on a bit. So he's obviously coming in here. There's also, at the other end, guys, there was a fire exit. So we've got entrances at the lift end. And we've got exits and entrances at both ends and sides. So there's quite a lot of entrances. There's no stairs on that particular area. Such Indoraptor went to 32,342,000, which is quite under. So 32 million it was up to when it took out its probably guessed. And you can see here, guys, maybe there's some weird design that on here, the circular area again is under this end. So maybe there was designed to bring something out and sort of spin it round like you do in shows. But in the end, it came out on the rollers, and you can see the switches over here. There's also apparently, I don't know whether it's a door on the left-hand side, but the main doors are really chunky doors. So there's a big area behind there, which we never saw, of course. So this is Maisie's bedroom. So this is when she got locked in there, of course, and locked her in. So I just wanted to show that in the daylight. There's a real spooky thing coming up as well, really spooky thing, and that's when it was the idea of locking Daisy in the room. I keep looking at some of the paintings that we got, and I found a couple of Easter eggs which maybe people haven't found, but not here as such. Right, let's move on. So here is the lovely Indoraptor coming into the room, which was always spooky, was it not? Always was. I don't think we ever explained whether it was a connection to the fact that Maisie was also a hybrid as such, whether or not the Indoraptor was particularly interested, or maybe it's just a little one. And yeah, this was really was obviously Dracula style with a hand and everything coming in, and it was really cool. I thought it was really good. It's really different. So guys, then we've got the bit of a fight where he comes in and offloads a few shots into the Indoraptor. Now look at this spooky thing. This is Shiver and Shivers. Look on the right side, guys. What is this over here? It looks, oh my god, what's that? What's that? What is that behind the window over there? That looks like a predator. It looks like some spooky person looking through the window, because her balcony, I can't remember whether the balcony has, in fact that's quite an interesting thing, whether the balcony has it might be the pillar on top of the balcony, but to me it looked really spooky. We'll see. Well, actually, we'll go right at the end of this video. We'll have a quick look at that. So there's the Indoraptor, of course, which is really cool, even with twitches and all. So then, obviously, Owen is pretty worried about that. Also, I was amazed that this soldier was still standing after all that, which is quite funny. Lots of interesting stuff. So then Indoraptor goes for it, and Blue comes to the rescue. Dun, 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 dun. And this is E.T., by the way. Is this E.T.? Where's E.T.? E.T. was on the floor somewhere, which was quite interesting. Was it in this one? Was E.T. in this one? Nah. It's dinosaurs, though. So there we go. Right, okay, so there's a good fight. The bed gets completely smashed up. I just want this for the room size to build the room, and then obviously off we go. Look at that, look at that, look at that, look at that, look at that. That was just one of those shots. There's Blue with the biggest, widest teeth on the Indoraptor's neck I ever seen. That is some snap on the Indoraptor, which is quite interesting. So they carry on fighting, guys. So right, let's go right back to the start of the movie and let's explain the entrance. So we saw Claire walking up steps. She comes into the door. Now remember, the museum on the house should be directly at the back. So she should have walked through to the back into the museum, but that doesn't happen, as you see. So you always see the stairwell. She walks in, so this is looking the opposite way. She's just looking at the pictures and looking at Mr. Hammond on the wall. I love some of the spooky pictures, like holding like dinosaur heads and all that. I can just imagine that. And Mr. Hammond's cane there. Oh, and I keep seeing all these things like this here. Look, it looks like a dragon egg, doesn't it? It's like a dragon egg. I keep seeing things like that. And then the skulls and stuff, you see them all over the house. So next up, Mills obviously comes round, and there's another like really weird spooky like picture, and they got even the wallpaper spooky with bees on it, which looks quite spooky, but it's really good. And yeah, it looks a bit weird there. So we walk through the house. What is that? What's that? Yeah, oh, it's a picture there. And Mills comes down the stairs. So here's the picture of the hall, guys. So she walked through the door. So what should happen is we should carry on straight on past the stairwell into there. But please note the light on the left-hand side. The light on the left-hand side. So Mills comes down, speaks to Claire. I'll come and show you this. And then they literally go past the light. Claire's will have turned right into the main museum again. So the continuity is not right. So on the house, the museum's at the rear. There's these, you can see the windows here as such. So I'm gonna have to I think I'll stick with the movie here. You can see the roof, see up here, and really, if we saw outside, the roof should finish abruptly. But we now know there's this panelling, and the lift is at the far end, as we've seen. So we come into the lovely hall, double staircases at this end by the hall, and they just carry on talking. And then we come to this wonderful map. You can see the stairwell later, this upper level here where the Indoraptor climbs up. So, and then we come to this map, and there's a lot of conjecture about what is the map. The nearest island that we can is Isla Murta. From the 5 deaths, which could well be. It's about the closest thing, although the lagoon, this flat, massive flat area in this area doesn't sort of match Murta as such, but it's the closest thing that we can find is into that. And then Claire here discussing the sanctuary. You can see at the back window to outside again. Now, you know from the outside of this building, you can't be possibly a window there. So it's maybe the window's sort of lower down, so we'll have to play with that. And we've got the upper level. So there's Isla Murta, could be Isla Murta, could be. And here's the picture of the upper level, which I want to get quite correct. And then Benjamin Lockwood comes in. See that big window, guys? There's no, that's literally there, and it's literally on the side. So we'll have to play around with that at the end, maybe. But that big window's got to go in. And then you can see the glass cabinets and the lift at the end. And there's another door that, now my name escapes, so comes walking through, look. So there's a bit on the end there. So come and get your medicine. The window's there. And then this office, I've been trying to look at this office. So this is really quite cool as such when the map comes up. And I've been trying to work out what this is. I have no idea what this is at the back. Even I'm using this. These pictures were taken in 2K. I haven't got a 4K version, so maybe the 4K version could show a little more for us. But what there is everywhere are these like fairground rides. There's like these sort of fairground bits. But there we go. I haven't done any pictures of that. There's again, another picture of the museum with the window at the end and lift on the right. When Maisie was playing, and something ran through here, but it wasn't Maisie, I'll tell you that much. So there's Maisie's thing. All right, so this is upstairs in Benjamin's room, because he's not very well. And we've got Jurassic Park over there. There's the visitor centre from Jurassic Park. Didn't miss anything there. Right, this is where they're hiding from the Indoraptor. The lift is down that far end. And then they make a run, don't they, for this corner. And again, these windows, which have all got JB on it. Right, guys, first little secret coming up. I've been having a good look what's here. You can see stuff. The globe there, lovely pillows. When the Indoraptor turns, look, there's a dino on the chair. First thing that I'd found, a little dino. On the chair, or is it a Pokemon? I'm sure it's a dinosaur. Is it a Pokemon? So the window across there as well. So Maisie, this is where the problem is. See, so Maisie runs out, and you can see the stairs there. Now on the movie, there should be the hallway should carry on to the museum at the back, but it doesn't. So Maisie runs out, turns right up the stairs. Indoraptor comes fast after, comes up, comes to the top stairs, turns immediately left. Then turns immediately left again down the long corridor. Maisie runs a long way and then runs into the food hatch, as I call it, and off she goes up to the top. So let's go to the lab. And let's go to the lab here. And you can see the cases. So this is the end, guys, the lift at the end. So you can see here. Next up, the lift. So if there's no more levels above, so there's a 2 there. So the question is the 2 here? Because, or is there another level that doesn't show on the film? Because that's quite interesting. So if that was 2, we got 1. We got -1, -2, and -3. And the -3 is pressed, but we don't see any more numbers. But when the lift goes down, off it goes down a long way from here, it literally stops here. So, and you can see it opens up. But the lift also can carry down for 1 more. So is that like an underground area? So is that 3 - 3A or something like that? Or maybe a lift? So this is part of the pens, guys. You can see on the right hand side, you can see the number 3, pen number 3. And the pen is on the right. So 1, 2, 3. So the number is on the right of the pens. So that's crucial to a picture later on. On the left is the control room. On the right it is the laboratory where Mills takes the auctioneer, of course. And you can see some of the stuff in here. So it's on the right. Doesn't appear that big a lab, and that conflicts with the map later on as well. So it's restricted area, and off we go. And he's got this another super duper thing with the Indominus Rex, and I didn't get the picture with the Rex, with the interesting stuff that some of people managed to pick up on 4K, but I haven't been able to pick it up on here. And here at the moment you can see them all walking around, lots of stuff, loads and loads of stuff in here. So all the lab, and later on Maisie comes down, of course, comes down to the same bit, which is -3 maybe, but she looks down into the area to see what's going on, and you can see that picture. And remember, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, and we have 5. We have 5 pens. Interesting enough though, look, you've got 4 5s on the right. There's 6 and 7, so that's almost like there's no pens underneath. So I don't know what they are if they're not pens, but there's stuff in there. So 6 and 7. And then we got, again, the lab on the right. There's nobody here now when Maisie comes down. So Maisie has a look into the lab as such. She has a look at the stuff. Good advertising. She's covering number 5. So when she comes down the steps, guys, she's covering pen number 5. And then she runs from pen number 5 round. So it's crucial in the build that at that time she runs backwards, of course, into the Indoraptor and screams and is found out. But again, look on this side. So obviously the pen's finished. That is one big pen. That is a massive pen, but there's no number on it. No number at all, but that's quite a big pen. So there's sort of little pens and big pens, and I'll just have to work out how they fit in. And then this is looking from the other direction. So previously the lift's here behind us, so we were looking towards the lift from over here at the far end where they're doing stuff. But on this one, it's hard to see, but this end pen over here is the tall one, but it doesn't look tall, so maybe it's a different place. But the control room's still there, guys. So it's maybe slightly, and you can see around here on the right that there's a doorway where the Apatosaurus comes from and breaks it all, trying to run out through the big doors. So that big door at the end is where they get out and onto the top level through a big long ramp, and I've worked out it's about half a mile long to get from there out, from under the mansion out into the loading bay. So there's a wider shot of it. These are prodding dinosaurs down here. These have sort of got a gap here. So the pens, that's 6. So that is 6, 7, and 6, 7, and 8. And 8 is supposedly a big pen. So they're in 13, 14. I think they got trapped in when Claire and Owen got in there. So the Stiggy is in 13, if I'm right. Here's where they have to make a quick exit, guys, and collecting all the stuff. So I just took some shots of the eggs in the pens when they took the eggs out, as they are now. and then taking all the files. But I couldn't see any names. Again, I need a 4K version, and even on this we were looking for names, but in 2K you can just see numbers as such. And then there's the Indominus Rex, what should we say, claw, tooth Indominus Rex, yeah, Indominus Rex top. And there's Mr. Wu looking a bit older than he did in Jurassic World, to say the least. And then obviously back down to the back of the lab where Blue was being kept before Blue escaped. And it's quite, there's on the left hand side there's not much there, but there's Blue at the end of the lab as such. So it's the same lab. We've seen the other end before. The computer's over there in the centre. So Blue is out, and literally obviously takes a few people out. And then the stuff starts leaking over at the back. And then of course there's the explosion. Looks really good, the lab. Lots of stuff here that never got taken away. It all got destroyed again, didn't it? Because Blue runs out past the stuff. And then this runner, Indominus over here, of course, and Blue jumps out, smacks into the side, it gets up running. Now, there's the sort of map we got of the pens. Here we go. Oh, come back to that. Right, this is quite interesting. Okay, so we have got numbers on them. That's the big pen. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These below the control room, these weren't used because we had 6, 7 and 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8, and the 8 is quite a big one. I think this represents dinosaurs, and then this is the upper level. Now the gas went off here, but if you remember the lab, it sort of missed. I think the gas should be coming off here because the lab's got a door there, a door there, a door there. There's a centre door to go through to another laboratory at the other side, which we never saw. So the gas is leaking out here, and then there's the other pens the other side, which we didn't see as such. We did see 13. Was that the Stiggy one there? I wonder whether that's the Stiggy one. So Maisie's Indoraptor, where she went down the stairwell here, Maisie went down this corridor. So the Indoraptor was sort of caged in here. So it's not exactly what it is. It's I've worked out that it doesn't represent everything as such properly. Control room again, big door at the end. There's the gas. Now the gas is leaking out into the northern dinos as such, as they go along. Now here's the cams. So we've got 6A, so there's 7. So this must be 7. There must be an 8, 6, 7, but they're sort of mixed up. But it says cam 19, so maybe 19, but the number in there is 07. We've got a Carnotaurus. Then there's all the different cameras come on board with the lifts, etc. More of the cameras. Right, here is the external bay, guys. This is quite interesting. So this is where they're loading up all the dinos as they go along, and you can see they're sort of letting the wagons roll. So off they go. Now this is the escape. This is where Indoraptor goes wild and everybody's trying to escape. So on a function on that left hand side, so you've got the 3 loading bays here, you've got a loading bay on the right. People are running out through the door on the right down there. So that's one of the escape areas. These are the lifts for the dinos at the back, and on the left hand side is the ramp, but everybody sort of comes out these stairs here. This is where it goes, what the hell is going on? So here is the ramp. So this is looking from the outside. This is really interesting, guys. So there, the 2 guys can hear the stampede of dinos. That's what it looks like inside. Let's turn around. Look at this. Look at this. It's like the Channel Tunnel. Channel Tunnel. Look at that. So we know it goes down because you can see the lights going down at an angle. So I think originally planned it was supposed to be a straight line for half a mile down to underneath Lockwood. And it's only when you do this sort of thing you can actually see the ramp that goes down. So that's how the dinosaurs escape. So the first ones are out. That's massive. You can see the roof now going down. But if we go back to that picture where we have, if you go straight down, that goes straight down under the house, and you'll see a picture in a minute. In fact, here we go. Let's just move it on. So there it is. The house at the side of the house there is there, so that you can see that that ramp goes right down underneath the house. But to get into the dinosaur area, the lift is at the other end. So this is, funny enough, this ramp goes down to where the Indoraptor was put in. So I did say there's this massive area on this side. So it would match up. The ramp would go all the way down to where the big doors are. There's big doors where the Indoraptor came in for one level, and there's big doors at the lower level as well. So we'll have to put that out. And then the dinosaurs get thrown. Here's the baby dinosaur. You can see all the dinosaurs down there, guys. They're really going for it. And then they all come out here, which is really cool. And then we got the T-Rex, of course, looking really cool out here. And then this is going back to the pens, guys. So we're just going back into the pens again. So this is when the Stiggy breaks out, of course, thanks to Owen, which is pretty damn cool. It looks pretty cool, doesn't it? It's so cute. Oh, I did like the Stiggy. And off it goes, but you can see pens number 11, 12, 13. They were in 14. So this is like the other side, which is quite interesting. They just renamed. So there's a lift. There's another set of lifts. See? So it doesn't match up. So there's like 2 sets of lifts wherever they go. So there's 2 sets of lifts as we go. And there's a control room here. So work that one out, guys. Does a control room look either side? So in the control room, can you walk through from pens 5, 6, 7 to pens 11, 12, 13, 14, 16, 17? I think the control room, you have to have like the control room goes both ways. Although this control room, is it different? Sort of different. It's using the same set, but there we go. So it's an interesting thing. And then here's Maisie. Now on this one, she runs down. You remember she was running down number 5 last time, and there's no. When she runs down here, the stairs are here on the right. Look where Maisie's standing. She runs down here, and there's no Indoraptor. It's a different area. So when I build it, I'm gonna have to do like 2 sections. I'm gonna have to make it different on the other side. But Maisie runs down there, so it's not the Indoraptor aisle. So it's a different one. And she goes into. That's obviously she goes and hides in here, which is another food trap to go up to the stairs. And then they follow on down the stairs. So I think they basically use the same set and change the numbers. But in the real build, we're going to have to do big areas. And there's a big door on this side as well. So it's 2 sets of doors, 2 lifts, 2 areas to right. And so they come down here. And of course, they then come round the warren somewhere else. And then there's big doors here. So which one's this? I don't know which one this was at the end, really. So then they come down the pipes. They come down the pipes at the back, and this is the auction room as such. And then they listen to what's going on. They see the Indoraptors, a room behind them there as well, and they're looking at the top. Look how high up they are. So if you think that's like their feet go across here, that's almost three levels up in terms of people size levels. So it's quite interesting. Indoraptor again, and then Owen then. There's obviously lots of tunnels downstairs. This is not a full length one, but think about this one. This is only a rail to go in. This could not take the great big dinos through the big door. So it's a different rail section as such. But the rails are there. There must be a turntable. Again, that's lifts, isn't it? Because when the lift opens, but is the lifts both end? There's lifts both end, or is that a set of doors? Lifts both ends. So there's a series of lifts here. Because that looks like a lift. See the light there? He turns around. He turns around left. That's the door on the left. But there's a lift down the far end as well, which is quite interesting. Lifts at either end. So there's a series of lifts that we have to put in. Then Stiggy obviously hits the pole. And then he puts the Stiggy in that lift. And the lift goes down. And the Stiggy goes wild. Meanwhile, back up top, Mills comes down and finds them all there. And this is where this another tunnel Indoraptor. So I'm going to have to be very clever with my build. How I'm going to do that. The Indoraptor then takes out 2 people, which is different to the original one. And then they go into another room B08. and off they go. And then the gas is now leaking. This is later on, and the poor dinos are now suffering. Now the control room, this one's on this side. This is the control room with the how should we say, this is the lab across the way. See the lab, and you can see the double doors straight on, which I was explaining earlier on. So the doors go through to the other side, so it's a block. There must be like 2 labs. We didn't see both. And then we come back, and here's the control panel, and you can see the gas is everywhere. And we'll have a closer look. All of them are being gassed, and here they are all getting rather upset, to say the least. And you can see the cages here. We got 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 cages were the most. And that's hydrogen cyanide. And the hydrogen cyanide is there. There's 16, 17, 18, 4, there's 15. So that's where the 14 was where the Stiggy was. And 15 was where Claire and Owen were across the way. I forgot to mention when we were looking at Chloe and Aaron, there was a quite a large Ceratopian there. I can't remember which one. So that's just the cages going off. Then there are another 2 doors in here. Now I've worked out what this bit confusing now at this stage, but I've worked out that this is the ramp that goes across the control room, and then there's 2 doors where the Apatosaurus and the Stego comes through, and you can see the Carnotaurus that comes through as well. They've all been let out, and they all seem to congregate in one place. So they came around the corner, so they came out, turned right, and then came past the control room. And then it was a case, do we open the doors or not? Beautiful dinos here. And then there's the control room. So they're like going, we're going to open the door. Of course, Maisie then opens the door. Now, that door has tape on it. And if you remember earlier, the door didn't have tape on it. So there we go. There's a funny thing. There's the big cage there as such. And then off they go at the ramp, guys. So they're running up the ramp. Now, the question is, to make this work, to match up with the build where the roof is at the back of the premises, it has to turn right to go up to the ramp. So this comes out of here and then turns right up to the ramp. This bit is where Maisie is going out of a room across the roof to see to see the old man. So she creeps across the roof to see the old man. It was just a bit, I just wanted us to see more of the building and the roof area. So off she goes and goes to see Benjamin. And that is when he's dead, of course, because he's been killed. And this is just some CGI of the Indoraptor original, which you can see there was a different building as such. It was the building in the end ended up with 2 roofs rather than 1, so they put a separate one in. And then when you scroll round, Maisie's house isn't there. Maisie's room isn't there. Look, it's not there. On this one, it's sort of over this side on the left, so it's just the CGI as such. There you go, CGI. So that's really all the different things of the Lockwood Manor, which I'm going to build as such. And yeah, sorry, even though no, Maisie did not have any creepy things outside the door. As we saw, there was a creepy thing in there, which is a bit naughty as such. Yeah, there was no creepy thing. There wasn't, was there? No, there was no creepy thing on the top. So I hope you enjoyed that. We're now going to build this. And obviously we had to split this into 2 episodes, but we're going to build this, which is pretty good. Let me go around some of the things. So on the back here, the window, we can see the window that side. So really, we need to get rid of this. If this wasn't here, if this bit wasn't here, you can see the window. I'm just gonna make it like sort of the same as that. I'm gonna build it up the same as that. This is all right because you remember that side there was these glass partitions and walls and stuff, but this is sort of superfluous. And the other thing is this bit, obviously the lift is here. The lift is here, so we're gonna have to build a bit on. So there's no way there's a second level up there, so this must be classed as level 2, although it sort of doesn't make sense as such. And you can see that this has 4 areas. What I'd like to know is what happens to the stairs. We're on the stairs. We're on the original one, so it's really interesting. I'm going to flick through these. Remember, this shot's wrong because I said before, we saw later on that you can go all the way down. Needs to move back because it's parallel with the side of the building. The docks are already okay. That's no problem. Arcadia. Then we've got a load of lifts. We've got so many lifts to look at because I've worked out where the T-Rex is as well. That's the thing. Where's the T-Rex in all this? That's that. So we're all right with that. There's no problem with that. What was the other thing? Oh, there's where the lift is. So we'll have to change that. That was just a continuity error. And you can see here we've got buildings each side. So I don't know how much I'm not going to do too much detail. I'm going to stick to just doing where the dinosaurs and doing all this. So coming back to this, remember, if we come all the way down here, there was that big door there, giant door. So we have to work out with a sort of bit of poetic license of how it all joins up down there. Because these doors go down because this is the basement level is below here. So the 2 levels down, e.g. the basement pens and that are 2 levels below this. So we just have to do that. That's just the bedroom, of course, which is really cool. Oh, where's that creepy picture? Where's that creepy picture? Oh, no. There's the creepy picture. Who's there? Who is that out there? That's well spooky, guys. Really scary. It's either someone just standing there, but it looks like a predator. It looks like a predator standing there. It's really cool. I think that is really it, guys. That's obviously the continuity wrong, where on the movie the hall is on the right. That would actually work in that if we go down 3 levels, the dinosaurs would literally come out at the side of the building towards. So it'd actually work in terms of rather than having a right turn. So there we go. I hope you've enjoyed that video, guys. If you liked the video, and slap a like, please. And also, guys, for people who have never been here before, I've got over 280 Minecraft dinosaur episodes where I've been building Jurassic Park, Jurassic World, and now Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. So I hope you go and see some of those if you're interested in that. And hopefully we'll see you coming back. And thank you very much. I've really enjoyed the movie, and I'm looking forward to building this particular build over the next week or so. Thank you very much indeed for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.